each other, because as we know, we do slip up from time to time. This is all that God wants of us. The true mark of a disciple of Jesus is that willingness, of course, to forgive. It's that old Christian hymn, which I think we do sing here sometimes, and they'll know we are Christians by our love. And as Jesus says, by this will all people know you are my disciples, because you love one another. And loving with God's love, and God's love is always a forgiving love. And God's love, as we know, is giving. God gives and he gives and he gives. So of course, sometimes they say he takes away, but God's love isn't made up like that. We sit here in this church, the wind might be blowing outside, but we're pretty safe and sound and comfortable. The world outside, as we know, is pretty different. It can be pretty rough and tough, especially thousands of kilometres away, and maybe it's best to be avoided. But the world, as we know, is God's world too. And we keep hearing, of course, from angels and from Jesus himself, do not be afraid. I have overcome the world, and together we will change the world. I like this story when it comes to timing, and a bit of a nod, I guess, to that strange second reading you just heard. There was once a rabbi who lived on the edge of a dark and gloomy forest. And the forest may have been dark and gloomy, but it was also far and wide as a sacred forest. And in that sacred forest, there was a sacred tree. And beneath the sacred tree were written the sacred words in a sacred language that only the rabbi could read. And whenever the flock got in grave danger, the people would go to the rabbi, and the rabbi, sure enough, would go to the sacred tree or sacred forest, find the sacred tree, read the sacred words, a miracle would happen, and sure enough, the people in the village would be saved. Now the old rabbi died, and a new rabbi took his place. He'd heard the story of the sacred forest, the sacred tree, those sacred words. So when the people came to warn him, of course, that they once again they were in danger, all these villages, the rabbi went with them to the sacred forest. And sure enough, they found the sacred tree. Alas, though, the rabbi this time had forgotten to read the words, so he made up his own. And guess what? The miracle still happened, and the village people were saved. Long time passed, a third rabbi was appointed, and he lived in a city far away. And though he knew the story about the sacred forest and the tree and the words and all that sort of stuff, he thought it was actually only a story. Anyway, sure enough, people being people got into trouble once again, and those villagers went out to seek the new rabbi to save them from great danger. Anyway, he gathered them in the city square and he prayed, O Lord of heaven, we know that there was a sacred forest, we know there was a sacred tree, we know there were sacred words, but it be said that we're lost and almost beyond our understanding. And sure enough, as you'd expect, the miracles still happened. There's lots of explanations for that strange story about all those sacred places, but it's the idea that God is with us and he's always with us in good times and in bad. And